Hello again, everyone, and welcome to this segment of One on One. What a very, very talented man I'm going to have on the program today. Talented for many reasons, but the wisdom he has brought to this parish and other parishes for that matter is incredible. When we come back from the break, my guest will be Mr. Melvin Johnson. You won't want to miss this one. One on One is brought to you by the Law Office of Waits and Downer. You know, when I think back, and as I know your son Troy very well, we never knew it growing up to be anything else but one big family.
Yeah.
Troy's always been a great guy.
Yeah.
Roosevelt Thomas used to come to Harry McCullough's house and eat with us when we were in our teenage years, or maybe a little younger than that.
Oh.
So we never got, I don't know where the transformation took place, but we didn't grow up in that era of segregation. How hard was that?
I don't know. I didn't have too much of a problem with it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm saying, I didn't have too
So
much.
it's a mindset, isn't it?
I felt real bad. I felt sorry for some people what they went through, you know. Mm-hmm. Did go through it, but I felt bad for some people.
Right.
But one thing I could say, Troy and I've never preached racial stuff to my kids. I always told them about getting along with people and caring for people. And they grew up with that.
Well, they learned.
And that's the only way, man.
Yeah.
You know, you got people supposed to be so much of a Christian, they go to church, they come back and the children, you could tell racism in them. It's no need of going to church, man, if you're gonna do that, you know?
That's a great point.
You look, if you don't, why would I hate somebody? Why? A couple of years ago, 8 or 10 years ago, life was getting good in the United States. But now it's deteriorating. Why? Because people are talking a lot of illiteracy talk to people, and they believe in it. Mm-hmm. I look at TV, I hate to see that, man. You know, bring people together, you know?
But it takes an authoritarian type of person to hold communities together. You seem to have had that authority. Where'd you get that from? Did you get it from your mom or your dad, or where'd you get it
My
from?
dad was a happy-go-lucky guy. He could get along with anybody, and he got along with people. He always had that smile, and that smile was just not from the face, no. It was from the heart.
Yeah.
That's the type of guy he was.
Mm-hmm.
My dad ran a club. My wife and I worked in there. Troy worked in there, and everybody come in. He got along with them. Mm-hmm. We never called the sheriff office for like trouble in the club. People knew what we stood for. We let you know in the beginning, if you got some trouble, take it somewhere else. Don't bring it here.
That's my point. Y'all set a standard.
Yeah.
And you didn't hedge on it.
That's right.
And it became the norm.
Yeah. That is true.
And
That's
people looked at it, and there was a lot of respect that went with it. And I also say this, because I've often heard Troy and Clarence and Herman, they'll call me, I'll call them. The Bayou community, especially South Terrebonne, it did a pretty good job of everybody was part of the team.
Yeah.
Did you always sense that at South Terrebonne for sure?
Yeah.
So we got to give them a check mark.
That's right. When I was working with the sheriff's department, we used to escort the teams and things. And I've noticed how Buddy Marcella was with his players. They all loved him. Mm-hmm. They loved this guy, man.
He earned that love.
Yeah.
You just can't go through the motions.
You know,
because they will sense where your heart really is.
You know, Martin, if you look at it this way, I don't know what people really have in mind. Don't you know a child at 6 years or 8 or 10 years old know when you slight them? Now, how you gonna slight a grown up and think he's stupid and can't see it? That's why Buddy had so much love,
Yeah.
because he treated everybody, and they loved him.
And he was tough.
He was tough.
And it's okay to be tough. And I'm sure, like all coaches, get a little angry. But at the end of the day, you know where his heart was.
Yeah, yeah. I've married people in every part of this parish, in every auditorium in the parish. And I've met a lot of people in all parts of the parish, even from LaFouche, And I meet those people today. They call me on the phone, we talk, and we get along good.
In 1973, you're the first black elected official to win in a predominantly white area.
Right.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I told you why, too, didn't I?
That's right. How'd that make you feel?
It made me feel good, but the expectation was there. I expected to win because, put it this way, after I had gone in every area and satisfied everybody, why wouldn't I get their support?
Right. Yeah. You set your goals that were attainable.
Yes, yeah. I treated everybody like I would treat my family, If somebody came to me and they said, well, I had some trouble with my neighbor and this and that, I want to file charges. The first thing I said to them, do you have witnesses? Well, my sister and I was there. I said, it's not enough. You got to bring me 2 witnesses.
Yeah, and somebody outside.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the district attorney, 2 district attorneys I worked under, they told me, you know one thing? We don't never have to throw anything you send up here in the trash can, like warrants. You can take a misdemeanor and make a felony out of it. You can take a felony and make a misdemeanor out of it. But doing all of that, it's not good until it's accepted by that DA. And if it ain't right, he'll call you and say, hey, I got to change this. You got the wrong thing on here. It's a misdemeanor, it's not a felony. So I read the books carefully before I made a decision on it.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
How many brothers and sisters did you have growing up?
None.
You were the only child?
Only child.
Okay. And how many did you and your wife?
We had
Yeah.
four. 2 boys, 2 girls.
Okay. So you were an only child.
Only child.
I'd have never thought that,
Yeah.
because you were pretty independent, were your parents strict on you?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
It was more of a personality thing that you had?
You could be strict or whatever way you want to call it. But you know what? In life, I look at it this way when I was coming up. It's all in you to want to do the right thing. You can the parents going to talk to you about doing the right thing. But how many parents talk to their kids and they still do wrong? It's got to be within you too, man.
That's a great point.
I'm telling you, I looked at
You could preach all day long, but if they don't have it,
Troy and Melvin, those kids, I never had to go to worry about getting them out of jail or nothing. Those kids never worried about paying a speeding ticket for them. At my age, I used to drive. I never got a speeding ticket.
you never got a speeding ticket.
Never. I can't remember ever getting a speeding ticket.
That's incredible.
I can't remember ever getting a speeding
I
ticket.
can't say that.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah. I was on my way to New Orleans once to bring my wife shopping. And I was driving that was about before the fixed speed limit boosted up.
Right.
I was driving about 75 or 80. And the trooper came across the highway and stopped me. And he looked on he asked me for my driver's license. I gave it to him, and he saw the little tag in there. And he said, you know you were speeding? I said, yeah. I didn't realize it. And I told him the truth. And he said, well, I'm going to give you a warning this time. I said, but cut it down. And that was it.
Right. And a lot of people want to go back and forth with the police officer, but the best thing to do is if you were speeding.
Acknowledge it.
Correct.
Acknowledge it.
That's right.
You know?
You got me.
And you know, today they'll say, would you step out your car, please? You walk there, right on the armature. Just like you're driving down the street and you see they slow the speed down. He got it sitting there. You clocked already. So you can't hog it, you know?
Right.
You know?
So tell me about there was a situation where somebody was barricaded in a home. And
Who told you that, man?
I got my sources. On the scene comes Mr. Melvin Johnson, and you talked the man out of the house?
Well, there was a hit and run.
Okay.
And I was waking the east side at that time. So I got a dispatch call from headquarters that there was a hit and run on Bayside Drive near Sarah Bridge. And I went over there in my unit. I had a guy that the sheriff had asked me to train. His first day training with me. Mm-hmm. So he said, a trooper will meet you over there. I get over there was 2 troopers there. The guy, it was a hit and run. And the troopers was talking to people. And they were telling them description and all. So I walked over and one of the guys told me, he said, I'm gonna tell you something. They told me who the guy was. I said, yeah, I know the guy. So the troopers asked me, said, we're not familiar with this area. I said, Johnson, you know what this guy look like or anything? I said, I'll tell you what, you all follow me, and I'm gonna see can I find this guy. So they followed me. We get to the guy's house. The first thing when I get out of my unit, it was a side swipe. One was going south, one was going north. So it had to be hit on both drivers' sides. So I get out and inspect the car, and that's what it was, both drivers' sides. I told the guy that I was training, Roseanne had asked me to train this guy. I said, now, what you do, stand on the side when I knock at this door. I said, I'm going to knock at the door. I said, I want to talk to you. Sheriff's office. And the guy jumped up. When the guy jumped up, the guy that was waiting with me stood in the door. I said, to the side. Because if a guy gonna shoot, he gonna shoot through the door. You stand on the side of the door, you know? So I'm knocking, and I'm on this side, put him on the other side. So I heard somebody say, don't you reach up there for that gun? And that was his wife. When she said that, boom, I busted the door open. And I went in. And when I got in, the guy told me, he said, I didn't know it was you, man. He said, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was you. Mm-hmm. Well, the 2 units, trooper units was out there on the road about 50 feet. These guys had the gun drawn. So they were coming up, and I was coming out. I said, they heard the ruffle in the house. I said, holster your guns, man, everything is cool. Just like that, I told them. They said, but I hadn't handcuffed him, I shook him down. I said, he's clean, he's clean. And we came out the house, and the trooper struck before.
There you go.
And the guy, I think where this came from, this guy met Troy, and he told Troy, and I know he told a lot of people that, because every time he meet me in somewhere, he said, man, thank you for saving my life, thank you. Because those guys definitely probably would have shot him, you know. But I told him, I said, hey, holster your guns, man. Everything is cool, you know. And that's what happened there.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
Something else I heard. Did you jump in the bayou to save somebody?
Yeah.
Tell me that story.
My wife and I were supposed to meet some people at the club. We went to the club. Must have been about 8:30, 9 o'clock. We stayed about an hour. The guy that I know well said, can we get a ride home with you? I said, yeah. So they started arguing in the car. I didn't get into it. And they were arguing. So they got out the car. She had been drinking heavy. I opened the door. My wife hollered, said, Mel, that girl gone and jumped in the bayou. And I said, what? And I had on a suit, man. I turned, her husband couldn't swim. I turned around and I ran to the bayou and jumped. It was a bright moon, jumped overboard. When I jumped overboard, she was heading out to the mill, and I caught her by her hair and brought her back in.
Wow.
That was the end of that suit and shoes.
But instinct.
Yeah. Instinct was, I don't have time to pull nothing off.
Right.
So that was the instinct, not pulling anything off, just do what you got to do, you know?
Incredible. What about a helicopter landing in the backyard? What's that story?
Well, I had spoken with Bennett Johnston so many times on the telephone. Man, I heard about you, I heard this, I heard that. So Leonard Chubbell told me, he said, Bennett Johnston want to meet you, man. He want to come and see you. I said, well, I'm going to be busy. I got a couple of weddings to do, and I'm going to be tied up. He said, well, we're having a rally at the Ward 7, and it's going to start at 8 o'clock. Bennett want to stop over at your house and talk to you. He want to make sure you want to come to your house. I said, well, okay, I've got to do a wedding at 6. I'll do the wedding, and when they go, everything will be out the way, you know. Man, about 7 o'clock, that helicopter landed in the yard. They called and told me that, you know, and the whole street was lined up with state trooper cars. Wow. He came in and we shook hands, we talked. Bennett stayed there a while. Bennett was a half hour late for his rally. He said, man, I had to leave. He said, are you coming over? I said, look, I'll be over there to the rally. So we left and we talked about it, and I went over to his rally.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm. This one-on-one program has been brought to you by the law offices of Waits and Downer.